Welcome back. Devin Fan, Black Mamba Wing Chun. Today we're starting our series, the Wing Chun concepts, the Chun. So this is going to be the first one, the most important one. R.C. Wang Q actually said that these 5 principles that we're going to be studying over the next couple of lessons are the most important part of Wing Chun. So much so that you can actually take these principles and improve any martial art that you do using these principles. Okay, almost like these principles are what makes Wing Chun, more so than the techniques. Okay, the techniques only work if you express them using these 5 principles. The first one, probably most famous one you may have heard of, Loy Lau Hoy Sung. Okay, means you meet what comes, you follow what goes. What does that mean from a fighting perspective? The first part, you meet what comes. Okay. The reason this is important is contrary. It's the opposite of your natural human response. Natural human response to incoming force is to look away, shy away from that force. Okay, you don't want to look at it like an ostrich, put his head in the sand, thinks his problem's going to go away. So I don't look at this punch, think you don't want to see it. Unfortunately, it doesn't change it. The punch is going to come anyway. Okay, so fundamental martial teaching teaches you that when the problem comes, you have to learn to face the problem using whatever techniques you're going to use based on your martial art. Okay. Wing Chun, we're trying to make contact. We're seeking to make a bridge. Chum Q, seeking the bridge. Okay? So that means this incoming force, this incoming punch here, I'm going to try to connect with this. Now it's an opportunity. That's going to be my bridge to my opponent to get in close, use my in-close fighting skills. Okay? So it's really, really hard to see someone trying to punch you in the face as a gift. My Sifu always said, you have to think about it this way. We're trying to come in close, bridge that gap, make contact. In one sense, okay, you can't be afraid of this force. You have to welcome the force. When your opponent throws this energy towards you, whether they're trying to grab you, punch you, whatever, they're giving you that energy you can now do something with. All right? So in an ideal scenario, okay, applying this principle, punch comes in, I'm going to meet this force, okay? So whether I'm doing jam da, tan da, whatever, I meet the force, boom, I'm hitting my opponent here, I'm closing and I'm using my in-close techniques to finish the fight here as much as possible. The second part, okay, Hoy Sung, you follow what goes, means my opponent is trying to get away from me. Okay, he doesn't like I just elbowed him. He's trying to back up, but I'm going to follow. I'm going to follow him. I stay stuck to him. Okay, I don't want him to go away so he can use different kicking weapons, whatever, against me. I want to use that bridge I created. Once I stick, I want to stay stuck to him. Use my in-close energy here. Okay. To dominate the situation, keep the fight the way I want to keep it. In close, use my tools there. Okay? That's a great concept, great system for this emergency encounter here. So much so, a lot of Wing Chun fighters will tell you they only train for this, what should be a 3-second encounter, 2-3-second encounter. Okay? In an ideal world, in a perfect world for you, that's true. It should only be that. Meaning that an unskilled fighter coming to throw this punch, I can deal with this very quickly. And then I'm going to follow him, chase him down, knock him out, okay? In an ideal world. But I want to look at something a little bit differently. That may work for you. It's worked for me before, okay? Now we look at same setup, different outcome. In this setup, same thing. This guy who knows what his problem is, fires this shot at me, okay? I'm going to say, okay, immediately I respond, I'm going to jump da, I come forward to hit him, all right? Right away, I want to use that force and hit him. Unfortunately, okay, now he slips my shot, boom, comes back with a cross and hits me. Now he's back already in position again. What happened here? It's not a 3-second fight anymore. You know why? Because all of a sudden I'm facing a skilled fighter. He didn't just get knocked down, okay? My initial response may have been a good one, but in this case, he had a response to it. Okay? Who's gonna win in this situation? The more naive people out there, maybe you watched your man, you said, oh, if this guy does karate, I do Wing Chun. Wing Chun's better than karate, so I'm gonna win. Okay? That's a total nonsense. Who's gonna win in this scenario, him or me, is gonna depend on a couple of things. Who's been training harder, okay? If this guy's training all the time, hitting heavy bag, doing kicks, going nonstop on his training, working on his endurance, and I have not been doing any of that, it doesn't matter whether he does karate and I do Wing Chun, he's gonna destroy me. okay? What matters in this case, okay? Who can move around? Who has the best movement? Who has the best understanding of distance? Who can hit the hardest, okay? Who can be fastest? Those are the determining factors of whether you're going to be successful or not. So a lot of times when we're doing sparring at home, I'm working with, I'll say my son Napoleon, and he's punching endless. I say, okay, we're going to go again, and he's working on pads. He has to go again. He said, I can't feel my arms anymore. We got to keep going. That's because if you don't train for that, you only train for this 3-second encounter. Oh, I apply this concept and win the fight. And all of a sudden, person doesn't want to do it that way, doesn't want to fall down in your first punch, and he knows how to fight. He's moving around, okay? Now, all those things that you have to train for at home become so important, okay? So, can you circle? Can you move around your opponent? Can you predict by watching his body language what his next strike is going to be so that you can adapt to it? Can you see what his weaknesses are, okay? Can you be faster than him? If you guys are both to end up trading hits, whose hit is harder? Forget, in this case, about style versus style, because it's you as a person, as a martial artist, versus another martial artist in this case, okay? So all those things is gonna be, you're putting, whether or not you can even stand up to fight, or the equivalent of be a couple rounds of fighting here, okay, is going to determine, is whether based on your training, that's it. So when you're training at home, all those things that I'm telling you, you should be getting up and running in the morning, doing those other things. That's to prepare for an actual fighting scenario where it's not 3 seconds anymore. It's you have to deal with someone who has all kinds of different skills and movement, okay? You have to be able to move around. You have to be able to see, okay? When here I'm moving here, I have to be able to see what understand what's happening with him. I have to understand when he's backing up what that means. I have to understand when the times when maybe I shouldn't be rushing in because he's doing something else. That only comes from practice, only comes from sparring, only comes from working drills where you're moving around and actually practicing this stuff, not just static techniques, okay? So that's what I want you to focus on. The concept here, okay? You meet what comes, you follow what goes. You have to take the concept and apply it when you're actually sparring with your friend or partner, training partner, whatever. So when they're going away, you're trying to follow them, chase them down, but you keep moving, you're practicing, you're trying to find shots from different angles, you're blocking stuff, you're coming in, you're protecting yourself. You gotta keep moving, you keep that up, you keep it going, and you keep doing it until you're really, really tired and you can't do it anymore. And you do it over and over until you get better and better at it, and you get more used to moving around, and more used to, through practice, reading what's actually happening in this situation. That's what will make you capable in the end. Then it's not, your one trick didn't work, and you're in trouble all of a sudden, okay? Does that make sense? So the concept is that you meet the force, you engage, you're trying to do something here, coming close, you meet that force and use that energy. The force goes away, you chase down, you follow, you attack. That's the nature of Wing Chun, okay? But to practice it, you have to do it through movement, you have to do it through repetition. And when I'm trying to do this with sparring with whoever I'm sparring with, student, whatever, I want them to be moving away, but not just moving away, they're also moving away, throwing punches, so we have to do this in a realistic way. Okay, and then I start to read those. You have to be able to learn to read an evolving situation, because that's what it is in reality. Okay, there's a lot of information, but I hope it makes sense to you. And what I'm trying to do with this, show you what the concepts are, but also show how you need to adapt and use them and make them usable in a real situation. All right, hope that makes sense. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to keep going through the concepts, try to break them down in a way that makes it understandable for you so you can apply it. Until next time, Devin Fan, Black Mom.